Hi there, I'm Sarami with Sew, and today I'm going to quickly show you how to sew the Spoonflower DIY mask that you can get as a kit through Spoonflower, and you can get any design that you find on there. And there's instructions on an Instagram post that I posted a little bit ago on how to put the design ID number that you want on that mask. So I'm going to go over sewing these. I've got the instructions here and I read through them, and then I have a couple of other methods I'm going to show you. I received twill tape in my kit, but I'm also going to show you how to sew elastic on there. And so the first thing you're going to do is cut out your mask. You get two in the kit. You can see here, and then there's notches printed right on there. And you're going to cut out this perimeter here. Don't cut on this line here between the design and the solid print. You're going to cut all the way around this perimeter here, and then you're going to cut out, if you have the twill tape, you're going to cut out 4 pieces that are 18 inches piece, and then follow the instructions to figure out what you're going to do with your elastic. But you might want to watch the video because I'm going to show you how to do the ones with that goes over the ears. I don't know what elastic comes in the kit, so I'm going to show you the traditional 1/8 inch elastic. I know this is hard to find right now, but you can modify this how you want and use the elastic you have on hand. All right, are you ready to get started? Let's do it. Okay, you've cut out your masks, and I like to cut off that big heavy black line on here as well, because I find you might see it through the fabric depending on if you have a light colored background print. You don't have to notch these notches, but if you have a really dark color print and you can't see it from the back side, you can just nip into these little triangles a little bit and you'll be able to see your notch from the back side as well. And just note that there's 4 on the each short end and 2 on this long end here. All right, and let's see, I'm going to teach you how to do the straps 3 different ways. So the instructions tell you how to do it with twill tape and with elastic, and the elastic that they indicate goes over the crown of your head. So it goes from mask to mask over the crown of the head and across the back there. Whereas you can also do it where it goes around the ears, which is the traditional way to wear it, but you can get a lot of fatigue if you're wearing the mask for long periods of time by having the elastic on your ears. It is easier to get the mask on and off, so if it's something that you're using to pop into a store and go back into your car, that might make more sense to you. You're having to take it on and off a lot. So when you go to cut your twill tape and your elastic, you need 4 pieces that are 18 inches long for the twill tape. And for the elastic, if you're going to have it go across the crown of your head, you are going to need to use their size chart and check what measurement works for you. And they also have a chart that will help you maybe size someone that you're sewing it for. For the ears, I usually like about an 8-inch long piece unless you're doing it for a child. I haven't tried this mask on. This mask might go really far off to the sides and I may need a lot less. So you might want to try it out. You can always just pin the elastic on here like this and then see how it fits on your head and see what works for you. All right, so let's see, here we go. So the first step we're going to do is there's not very many steps in this mask. It's really fast. So we're going to sew our twill tape and our perimeter edge there, and we're going to do it all in one. All right, so first thing I'm going to do, get my twill tape out, and if you're using the elastic that goes over the crown of the head, you're going to line up, say this is your piece of elastic, because I didn't get elastic in my kit, I got the twill tape. So you're going to put it here and here for one, and then down here for the other one. So the elastic goes from side to side. For the twill tape, you're going to put one here at the top. I'm going to fold this over just like that, and I'm going to pin it in there just like that. And then I'm going to take my other piece of twill tape here, and you're going to put your elastic or your twill tape, whatever you're using, about 1/4 of an inch above this seam here. Now, if you're using the elastic that is more like this, like the ear piece here, you're going to put your elastic 1 on each end like this. So the way that Spoonflower has you sew the elastic is a longer piece, probably a little more comfortable, and it's going to go across the mask like this. This one, just for your ears, where you just go around like this, goes from one side and stays on the same side. So same thing, and it will pull your mask a little bit when you sew it, but when you pleat it, it'll all be fine. All right, so we're going to continue with the twill tape here. So line up your twill tape and just try and keep all of your twill tape in the center of your mask there, out of the way. All right, so we'll pin that just like this. And we're going to do this one as well. And remember, 1/4 of an inch above this long edge here. You can do it slightly more, just so that you have some clearance when you go around the corner and you don't get your strap. All right, let's put that twill tape in there. Same thing over here. Line this up like this. Always pin perpendicular to the seam. You can sew right over the pin that way. Or you can take it out and it'll be a lot easier because it'll be perpendicular. All right, so last one here. I'm gonna line this up 1/4 of an inch away from that long edge there. Just like this. All right. All right, so now we're going to sew the perimeter. And if you want, you could sew it from the other side and move your pins so you can see your notches, but we're gonna be okay. I can kind of lift that up and see that little edge right there. So we're gonna start at this corner right here. We're gonna back tack. I'm gonna remove my pin. Make sure you back tack across that twill tape pretty good. All right, and then make sure it's all out of the way. I just kind of moved it to the center. Go down this side. And you're gonna go just past your twill tape there and you're gonna pivot. So make sure that you're off of the twill tape when you go to pivot. Now pivot, push this twill tape out of the way, or elastic, whatever you're using. You're gonna sew up to this first notch right here and you're gonna back tack. Just like that. You're gonna skip over to the next one, right there, and you're gonna start sewing. 1/4 inch seam. Make sure this twill tape is out of the way. At least by seeing it on this side, I can see through the fabric and see it there. Go up to the corner, pivot 1/4 of an inch away. Could probably get a little bit closer there. Turn the corner, push all this twill tape or elastic, whatever it is, away. All right, I just had to rethread. I just broke my thread, and I only have 2 masks to show my demo with, so let's carry on here. So I'm going to back tack again right there just because I'm starting again there. And now just continue along this short edge all the way up to the corner here and back tack. All right, so we have all of our edges secured with our twill tape inside. Now you're going to clip across these corners. Just get right up to the stitching and clip across the corner. You'll get a nice crisp corner when we go to turn it right side out. Just like that. Get rid of that. And now we're ready to turn it right side out. So no matter what, if you have the elastic or the twill tape, the sewing is the same. Right, so let's turn this right side out. And I like to put my thumb in the corner there and then turn it right on the corner. You can use an awl or a chopstick to push it out. And once you have it out, you can kind of tug with your twill tape just like that. There we go. All right, so if you have the elastic that's going to just the ear, it's going to look like this. Or if you have the elastic that goes across, it's probably going to be more like this. It's probably a big, wider piece of elastic as well. All right, so now we have this. So now we're going to iron this. And we're going to close this opening right now while we iron it. All right? All right, so now we're going to iron our mask here. So make sure you pull these corners out really nice. And be careful when ironing near your elastic, because the elastic is generally a synthetic and it can melt if it gets too much heat. So just be really careful with that. So you can kind of look at this edge here, maybe smooth it out a little bit. Get rid of these threads too. They will show through that layer of fabric. You can kind of see that they will show, and they might kind of bug you. Just get rid of it. Now you're happy you trimmed off that black line if you did, because it might show through the mask. And again, you know what? It's you're making a mask, it's great no matter what it looks like. Trust me. All right, let's get this. I kind of roll it on its edge just like this. And get it nice and crisp. And we iron it. You pre-washed your fabric, so there shouldn't be any issue with this part of it either. All right, that looks pretty good. We're gonna also edge stitch this and keep it nice and crisp. Let's just make sure we have this edge nice. So I find that, you know, if you don't get that lined up, you'll see that white line like that. Just gonna roll it in there a little bit more. We won't have to hand sew this, we'll just edge stitch it shut. All right, so now we're ready to do our final stitching. All right, we're back from the iron. We're gonna do our last pass of stitching and our pleats, and then we're completely done with our mask. And one thing I should note, I did tell you to clip your notches so that you could see your pleats, but the way you sew this, you can't actually see your pleats or your notches for your pleats, and you're going to have to figure out the markings at the end. I had planned on sewing it a different way where I could still see them, and I decided just to go with the Spoonflower direction. So I have the measurements here for you. So the first place you're going to put a pin is 1.25 inches down. This is the edge that is the fold. This is the one with the opening right here. So it's 1.25 inches down from that top edge there. Just like this. Put a little pin there or a piece of chalk or something like that. And then 1 inch from there. Another one 1 inch away, and then one more. So if you wanted to get more adjustability in your mask, you might consider adding a third pleat and just reducing these and maybe starting it a little bit higher. I know that when there's 3 pleats, it does give a little bit more flexibility for sizing. All right, so here we go. We're going to start, I'm going to start about right here. I'm going to go across the bottom and up the side, and then we're going to pleat our mask as we go. So we're going to pleat towards us when we're up here or away from us, and then going to finish on the other end. All right, here we go. I'm going to start right here, back tack or back stitch. Just edge stitch along that edge that we just ironed. Get to the corner, and you're going to turn. And now you're going to pleat this toward the other pin. So you're going to take the top pin and go that way. And you can take out both your pins. You can pre-pleat this and pin it and be like, you don't have to do it on the fly like I am. Just like that. Turn. Make sure you keep your ties and your elastic out of the way. It might be a little fiddly at this point. Now you're going to turn again, and now you're going to pleat these towards you. And like I said, you could pre-pleat these and pin it just like this so that you don't even have to worry about doing this on the fly. I tend to do a lot of things on the fly. If you're familiar with the way I sew, you know I'm kind of a production sewist, and I like to do things as fast as possible. All right, so here we go. I'm going to go across these pleats as well. Take out your pin as you get to it. And we're going to meet our beginning spot right here. There we go. And your mask is done. Let's trim your threads. Don't forget to trim your threads. You're not allowed to inspect it or try it on until you trim your threads. There we go. All right. It's a nice, roomy mask. Okay, so I've also got this other mask with the ear elastic to the same point to the last step here. And so we'll do the same thing. We'll put our pins in, and we'll finish this up. The 1 3/4, and then 1 inch, If you have your other printed mask before you've sewn it, you can hold it up to it and use that as a guide as well. So here, we'll pre-pin this time, just like this. And print, pull it down, matching your notches just like that. Just like that. And repeat on this side. 1 3/4. 1, 1, and 1. I do have a free mask pattern if you need to end up making more, or you want any more tips on production sewing masks. I have a couple of videos on that. If you want a method to sew a mask with binding, I also have a video about that as well. I think I'll have a couple videos, but they're combined. All right, here we go. So now we have our pleats pinned with our ear elastic mask, and we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to sew across the bottom opening and close that up. Make sure none of these threads are peeking through. It's a lot easier if you pre-pleat it. If you have trouble getting through some of these thicknesses, just walk your hand wheel on your machine to the right there, and always walk it towards you. You can just do that one stitch at a time, just like this, and it might be a little bit easier to get through some of these thicknesses. I know I've had machines in the past that didn't really like going through elastic, so you might find that is the case with your machine, especially with those pleats. All right, so let's see if we trim our threads before we look at it. All right, there we go. So now we have our 2 masks with the Spoonflower DIY mask kit, and I think they're like $10. You get 2 masks. You get everything you need except for the sewing. And so enjoy and stay safe out there, and thanks so much for making a mask. Bye.